Right now, right now. 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 Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We got to add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since it's been out there. The government has been Hey guys, what's going on? Jebb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your weekdaily morning show. We bring you the latest in everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the major drop that is coming very soon on Bitcoin. As you know, if you've been watching the price action charts, Bitcoin has dropped nearly $1,000 over just the last 24 hours. It's been trading between the 50 and the 100 daily exponential moving averages, and those two moving averages have created this convergent zone, more or less this symmetrical triangle pattern that Bitcoin's been bouncing around in, expecting a breakout of over the next 2 weeks. Now it seems that that breakout may be just days away, as we have moved with quite a lot of exuberance down towards our support at the 100 daily EMA. We're going to be talking about today whether or not that level is going to break soon, and if it does, what will that movement look like? And of course, we're going to be refreshing on what the next couple of weeks are going to look like as we move into this season of a potential default on the United States debt. And also moving into a season where we're going to be seeing CPI and the effective federal funds rate trends that we've been relying on for our technical analysis on Bitcoin changing quite substantially, because CPI is starting to reach a sticking point where we're probably not going to see 0.4, 0.6, 0.7, 0.2% drops anymore. Maybe at best, we're going to see a 0.1 or a 0.2% drop every single month. And at the same time, the effective federal funds rate is likely to only hike one more time at most, if not just go ahead and pause come the next meeting on June 14th. So we're going to be looking at shorter term analysis, and we're going to be looking at more medium term analysis. And also, if we have time, I'll also take a couple of suggestions to do some 2-minute technicals on some altcoins of your choosing. So let's go ahead and read chat. Thank you so very much for everyone who's tuned in. We just got started. There's over 100 people in chat. Thank you so very much to every one of you blessed souls who have joined us this morning. Very excited to bring you today's episode. Let's go ahead and read some chat. Rock and Metal News was first, said, hey guys, what's going on? Rock and Metal News. Wisely T is in chat, said, Hump Day. Who remembers that Who remembers that what am I trying to say? That commercial with the camel walking around? Was it like a State Farm commercial? I forgot what it was. It was the Hump Day commercial, and they'd walk around saying Hump Day, everything. So yeah. Happy Hump Day. It's Wednesday. Sean O'Brien in chat said, hey, hey. RC Moore's in chat said, hello. Tall blonde girl said, hey. RC Moore said, see that when I poked my head out right before the stream started? I figured I'd give you a little smile. Saw that wink. Oh. Crypto Mini Bike in chat said, good morning, everyone. Matanya Holmes, longtime fan, said, SL Hunt. Fury Inferno said, I saw that smirk. Pew Pew Poom 2 said, lol default is just days away. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about the national debt today. Definitely could go on a rant about that. Whew. Whew. Grinds my gears the way that we run our economy. Shadrach Frost in chat said, good morning, Jebb in chat. Arif Ali said, hello, Jebb. The Drake equation is in chat, said, what's up, CJ fam? Sorry, let me get in the right vote. Right now. Said, let's get it. Good deal. By the way, tell me if you see Enrico. I'd love to pass along my good wishes. We've got Win Peoples in chat. That's another one of those references that I'm sure only the Drake equation would get. Diamond Sauce in chat. AVAX, please. Maybe so. Maybe we could do that. Yo, yeah, boy, Philly into house is what Philly Skills 1428 said. You know, I was with our pastor yesterday, and he was reading he was reading the Bible out of Pidgin, which is not the bird, but the language of Pidgin. It's a trade language from like 400 years ago, and they translated the Bible into Pidgin, and it's just really funny. I'll have to show you this in a little while. It's a real language. I'm not making fun of it. It sounds like somebody's just kind of kind of just messing with you, but it's actually a real language. It's so funny. Look up the Bible translated into trade pigeon, I think is the language. I'm sure somebody in chat knows what I'm talking about. Colin McDonald in chat. Dub Dollars said, wait, you're not sick. I wish. I get over these things relatively quickly, but they just keep coming. They're like the years. They start coming and they don't stop coming. Goodness gracious. Matanya Holmes said, hey, he said my name. Love you, Jebb. Love you too, guys. I love all of our fans, all of our members of our community. All right. Good deal. Anatoly Kent said, hey from Ukraine. What is up, my friend? Good job to you guys for standing up for your country. By the way, definitely don't envy the position you're in. Definitely our hearts go out to it. I remember we cried. I remember crying on stream the first day of the invasion. It was a horrible thing because, I mean, I knew because I've studied war extensively what that war was going to become. It's the same thing when the pandemic started. I could see it in the R0 when there were 3,000 cases and there were like 40 fatalities. When the thing had just gotten started, it was in 2 countries. It was in China and Taiwan. I had studied epidemiology in high school as like an extracurricular. I'm a nerd. What can I say? And I saw it, and I saw the R0, I saw the infectivity, I saw all these numbers, and I was like, this thing's going global. Like, this is the kind of thing that I'm probably going to get, and that my neighbors are probably going to get, that my brother with a compromised immune system might get. You know, that I remember the day. It was January. I don't remember the exact day. I remember the day. I don't remember the day, if you know what I mean. It was January something, 2020. I was like, this is going to go global, and this is going to be huge, and this is going to suck. This is going to hurt a lot of people. And I remember when the war started on February 24th. I remember watching that and I thought, this is going to be awful. I've studied World War II extensively. I know what the blood plains of Poland look like. As far this is going to be awful, and I'm just so sorry. I'm so sorry for everybody in Ukraine right now. Did you see Ron DeSantis is running with Elon Musk for president? I saw that Elon Musk tweet. That was an Elon Musk parody. That was a parody of Twitter account. That was not actually his Twitter account. Let's go ahead and check it really quickly here. I could be wrong. Yes, breaking. Fox News confirms Florida Governor Ron DeSantis will announce his 2024 presidential run tomorrow in a Twitter Spaces interview with Elon Musk. Okay, maybe I misread your comment. Maybe you were saying that he's going to... Yeah, he's not running with Elon Musk. He's announcing it with Elon Musk. Elon Musk has a parody account that said, I'm running for president. And then somebody said, well, you can't because you were born in the United States and that's a technical requirement. And he said, oh, come on, these technicalities. Anyway, technically speaking, let's go ahead and look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is currently trading at $26,282. It is down 3.65% over the last 24 hours, 0.1% for every day of the year, down 1.37% over the last week, still up 10% over the last 90 days. We're trading at $26,282. Excuse me. One thing I want to point out is that as we come down and approach $25,236, we also approach $500 billion in market cap. We've talked a lot about how the price target that I'm giving you is $25,700. What I haven't shown you so far is that when we went down there just a few weeks ago, we came down and tested basically the exact same region that we're in right now, about $509 billion. Bitcoin dropped down to about $509 billion and dropped right down above $500 billion. That $500 billion mark is a major level of support that Bitcoin is attempting to defend right now. Similar thing going on with Ethereum and with a $200 billion market capitalization. These are two levels that these cryptocurrencies are trying to defend. So luckily, the good news is that is at least a $700 billion market capitalization for just the top two if they do manage to defend those. What I will say is that they may have trouble with that for reasons we'll discuss. Now, let's go ahead and look at the trending. If you guys remember, I kind of dumped on the parade of Pepe, and let's just see how it's doing. Everybody wanted me to buy Pepe up here. Yeah, I'm honestly a little bit surprised it's managed to hold on to as much of its value as it can. But this is one of those cryptocurrencies where I should have done this because it would have gotten so many views, so much hate comment, but a lot of people would have subscribed because they would have realized I was right. I should have made a video titled "Why You Should Absolutely Not Buy Pepe." I should have made that video. I'm a YouTuber. I know better. I've been doing this for like 10 years, almost literally 10 years on YouTube. I should have known better. I've been literally making videos since 2012. I should have known to make that video. I'm sorry. I am sorry that video did not get made. But I did say it on stream. Do not buy Pepe. Because if you had bought Pepe when I told you not to buy Pepe, then you would have been down 70% right now. And, you know, Pepe very well may move to the upside. It could go back to all-time high briefly. It could do this kind of thing that Doge did, where it went to a big high and then went to a much more massively higher high later on. You could put Yeah, moonbag in it. Nothing wrong with moonbag. It's a pretty massive meme. It could go up again, but not the way that you invest. You don't see Warren Buffett going and investing on red in Vegas, do you? That's not how he got rich. He got rich by investing in things that he was able to have good reason to invest in. There's logic behind it. Don't invest in things that you don't know, and don't invest in things that don't have a good reason to be invested in. Pepe being one of them. All right, at least not very much. If you want to speculate, that you're speculating, but you're not investing at that point, you're speculating. There is a big difference. Let's go ahead and jump on to Bitcoin. Oh man, such wonderful blessings from the person that thought I wasn't sick anymore. I really wish you were right. As you can see, the analysis that we're going to do today is completely and totally predicated, not completely and totally predicated, but this part of the analysis is predicated on these two moving averages. Now, I really like the moving average indicator that I have up. It's 4 MA lines, because I actually shift it back and forth from SMAs to EMAs. You see the moving average calculation here, if I set it to 1, it changes these to simple moving averages. You can see this doesn't really work with simple moving averages, but I do want to show you briefly, because Bitcoin fell down and found support on the 100 moving average, the 100 simple moving average before, and on the 200. Right now, Bitcoin is probably falling below the 100 and could drop all the way down to the 200 moving average, which is what happened quite often during the previous bull market. Now, we were talking about the exponential moving averages in past, so just keep that in mind. But the same thing is true for the simple moving averages. It was not uncommon for Bitcoin to drop all the way down to the 200 simple moving average on the daily chart during the previous bull market. We had it happen several times, especially in the beginning of the bull market. It's very possible that that could happen again much sooner, as far as much more timely, much more around the time that we're in right now. So right now, that being said, the big kind of news for today on the technical charts is that Bitcoin is breaking below the 100 daily simple moving average. And if we shift back over to our exponential moving averages, Bitcoin is approaching that 100 daily exponential moving average. And since it's in this kind of convergent symmetrical triangle pattern between these two EMAs, which are very, very important for the health of the market, it's very likely, in my opinion, that we're going to end up falling down to at least the 200, approaching the 200 daily simple moving average. I've given you guys a price target of 25.7. I think that is a little bit conservative. It's definitely possible that Bitcoin could go further than that. I'm absolutely open to that, but that's kind of my conservative price target. That's a little bit lower than what we saw happen recently, except this time I think we'll go down there with a candle body. When we do go down there with a candle body, if we do not see a major reversal that's a bullish engulfing reversal, similar to how we saw over here, we saw on the sheer daily time frame, we saw a bullish engulfing candlestick right here with a bullish hammer. But we also saw these two candlesticks were smaller than these two candlesticks, and these three candlesticks were bigger than these three candlesticks, and these four candlesticks were bigger than that. So the whole, like, going out 4 days on either side, we can see, and I can't put this in the middle because it just doesn't work that way on TradingView, but you can see these 4 daily candlesticks right here, the green, just look at the green versus the red. The 4 red were smaller than the 4 green. So this is just an engulfing, not just on these 2 days, but also on the 8 day with 8 days of data. Unless we see something very similar taking place here on the daily chart for Bitcoin's bottom, then we're probably not going to see the bottom come in this close. It is very possible, and I am going to start considering this heavily, that Bitcoin could go even farther than $25,700. And I do think it's prudent that we start moving our price target, because our price target, honestly, from our symmetrical triangle pattern, points us down to $24,000. $24,000 would not be the end of the world if Bitcoin dropped down there. Why? Well, that is the level that we set as resistance here on February the 2nd? Yes, on the 2nd. I couldn't remember if it was on the 1st or the 2nd. It was on the 2nd. Bitcoin dropping down there would not be the end of the world. In the same way that during the drop that we saw here in early March, we dropped below all 3 of these exponential moving averages, we would be doing the same thing here. We'd be dropping below all 3 of them, but we'd still maintain bullish alignment of moving averages with the 50 above the 100 above the 200, so long as we didn't stay down there for too long. So my conservative price target for Bitcoin is 25,700. The second price target for Bitcoin is 24,176. About. Let me go ahead and adjust that a little bit. Let's try and get here on exactly on the dot as close as we can. Let's call it 24,600. Let's do that. That level makes a lot of sense because it means that this bearish symmetrical triangle patterns prediction would come true. It means that we would be fulfilling the bearish Lux Algo price prediction as well, because we'd be pushing right into the very middle of the take profit, which is the take profit that was set over a month ago on April 19th. Now, I show this every time I show Lux Algo, but just remember, that's not a repainted take profit. If you ever break all the way through a take profit, it will repaint because you've already fulfilled it. But you can see even back here, this is the price target. It left the drawings, just not the charting because I'm doing the replay tool. Use trading view. You got the replay tool right here, bar replay. This was the original take profit zone from this sell signal that came into play over a month ago. Move the chart forward. Bitcoin touched the top of it once. You can see it touched the top of it one time right here on May the 12th. I'm thinking this very possible, and in my opinion, very likely that we will drop all the way down to between 24,236. Sorry, between 24,600 and 25,700. It's a pretty large range, but to be honest with you, I think if we do move into that zone, that will be very bullish for Bitcoin. And the reason is very simple. The reason is this. Bitcoin corrected 22%, negative $5,500 over 18 days here in late February, early March. This correction, if we did drop to say, let's say 24,700, would be a $6,400 drop and only a 20% correction over 46 days. Be a longer correction, slightly smaller correction percentage-wise, which means that they would be about equivalent. It'd be a little bit smaller, but a little bit longer. So in the grand scheme of things, you might as well call them about equivalent. That sets Bitcoin up for some very healthy positioning, because if Bitcoin does go through a correction of that caliber, then that gives Bitcoin the capability to go into a more sustained uptrend moving into June and July as things calm down. As people have talked about quite extensively in chat, and as we'll talk about maybe a little bit today, the debt ceiling is all the news right now. The debt ceiling not being raised is bringing a lot of FUD into the market, which I think is a little bit asinine, because the government is not going to let itself default on its own debt, because that'd be like saying, I am going to send myself to timeout because I didn't eat all my eggs. Really? I'm going to do that to myself. Really? You know, the government acts like a 3-year-old child. What? Have you ever seen a child send themselves to timeout? I've seen my son play like that. He's never meant it. He's never said, I'm going to timeout. I'm going to sit here for 30 minutes until I learn my lesson. The government doesn't work that way. It's supposed to work that way because of checks and balances. But guess what? The same people that write the checks, Congress, are the same people that are supposed to be checking whether those checks should have been written in the first place, because there's no balanced budget amendment. Let's not get into politics. We'll talk about the debt ceiling a little bit later if you would like, but Congress is not going to let self-default on the debt. So it's kind of a nothing burger story, but it is still bringing a lot of FUD into the market because people are worried that they might. Oh no. 3-year-old's going to send themselves to timeout for half an hour. It's not going to happen. Anyway, moving on. My point in bringing that up is that as that news moves forward and the debt ceiling is raised above $31.4 trillion, it'll probably move to 32, 33, whatever, somewhere in that range. Add another, just print $1 trillion platinum coin this time, or whatever it is that they'll end up doing. When they do figure something out, even if it requires the government shutting down for a week or two and you can't send a postcard to your grandmother for a while, or you can't go to Yosemite, when they do figure it out, that FUD will be resolved. With the more than likely plateauing rates, which will lead to an increase in the value of the stock market, which will hopefully cause the SPY to break through 417. We tried to break through 417. We had technical setups to break through 417. FUD stopped the stock market from breaking through 417. Also, a breakthrough on the Russian border near Belgorod probably didn't help, but that's a different story. When we do see some of those news stories calm down, some of this FUD in the global economy, then you will see then you will likely see kind of the dark clouds over cryptocurrency, at least some of the geopolitical ones and some of the macroeconomic ones kind of fade away. You're going to see a lot more interest in Bitcoin because people aren't worried about the debt ceiling. People aren't worried about a national a debt default for the United States dollar. People are back to business. And by the way, I'm not saying it's a good idea that the United States takes out as much debt as it does in treasuries and all of this. I am saying, however, that it's not a problem that's just going to, I don't think it's a problem. I don't think it's a balloon, because it is a bubble. I don't think it's a bubble that's going to pop right now. I think that's going to take more time. One day it's going to become a big problem. It's already a big problem. That I don't think is today's problem, unfortunately. Nevertheless, when we see the dark clouds of the debt ceiling go away, we see the dark clouds of the stock market going through a correction go away, when we see some of these dark clouds go away, we see acceptance that we're just going to have to deal with 4 to 5% inflation for a while, when we see a very mediocre at best inflation data report coming out on June 13th from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And when we see that Fed rate pause, many of these transitioning news stories will eventually lead Bitcoin back to the upside, because a lot of the FUD will be disappearing and a lot of the FOMO may be coming back, because people are going to be excited that, oh goodness, oh good, The rates are pausing. And even if they don't pause, okay, you kick the can down the road a month and a half. Big whoop. It's not that long of a wait, guys. The next meeting is like July 22nd or something. We'll get there. When we do get there and we eventually get that pause, that's going to bring some hope. And then when 6 months comes and we see the first drop, then that's going to see FOMO. Hope first, FOMO second. People are not going to say, good, we've seen a pause. Let's just send Bitcoin to the moon. They're going to say, okay, I'm on the lookout because when those rates start dropping, whoo-wee, I'm going to be investing in some Bitcoin. And I'm going to be doing so by taking out some newfangled, fancy, cheap debt like it's the roaring 20s all over again. Just this time, it's in a different century. Bitcoin is going to go through a drop. In my opinion, this is the analysis. I can't guarantee anything because past performance does not guarantee future results. That being said, from my understanding of the market and from everything the market is shouting at me, because, again, remember, technical analysis is the art, not the science, of listening to what the market is telling you. It's about having a mutual understanding. If you're in a relationship, if you're married, if you have if you're a friend, you're a parent, or you have a sister, whatever, a relationship rides on the rails of communication. And what I mean by communication is mutual understanding. Two people have to understand each other, right? For you to profit in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency markets, you have to have understanding of the market. You have to understand what it's saying because it's always shouting at you in its own language. It's always shouting at you in the language of technical analysis, in the language of charts. You, the analyst, have to have that understanding to understand what it's saying. If you understand what it's saying, that's where you're going to be able to find profit because it's trying to tell you where it thinks it's going to go. Now, the market's fickle, and it changes its mind on a dime. We're dealing with a 3-year-old here who says, I'm going to go run in the living room. But he's speaking in Mandarin. You got to learn his language so you can hear what the guy's going to say. But listen, he's also a 3-year-old, and he might change his mind at any time. That's kind of the way the market works. It's a rabid 3-year-old that speaks a different language than you. People have called me the king of weird analogies for a good reason. You got a rabid 3-year-old that speaks a different language than you. First, you got to learn their language, and second, you got to realize, look, they're a 3-year-old. They're going to go squirrel. You're going to change their mind at any given moment. Kind of the way the market works. You have to pay very close attention to what it's saying to you. You have to learn its language so that you can have an understanding of what it is telling you. Then you have to be understanding that at any moment, the market does not deal with this whole integrity and keeping its commitments nonsense. It thinks that's a joke. It's going to change its mind on a dime, and if it changes its mind on a dime, you got to change your mind on a dime. Because if the rabid 3-year-old that speaks Mandarin tells you that it's going to go in the living room, and then all of a sudden it says, no, actually, I'm going to go in the backyard. You have to be able to follow that thing, and you have to have understanding and realize it just changed its mind. That's the way the market works. Right now, the rabid 3-year-old that speaks Mandarin is telling us, I'm going to go down to $25,700, maybe down to about $24,200. Then I'm thinking about turning around, going to the living. No, wait, I'm thinking about turning around and going back up to $32,000, $33,000 over the next 3 to 6 months. That's what I'm telling you, Jebb. Are you going to listen? I'm trying to listen. I don't speak fluent Mandarin. I don't speak any Mandarin in reality, but to the analogy, I don't speak very fluent I'm doing my very best to understand you, but it is an imperfect communication because technical analysis is not your first language. You didn't come out of the womb learning how to read charts. It's a second language. Now, if you're my wife, your second language is better than my first language. Her second language is English, and she speaks it better than I speak English. You know, but for me, and for you, and probably for the rest of the world, because she's very special, for the rest of the world, our second languages are not always as fluent as our first. I'm not anywhere near as fluent in Spanish as I am in English. I'm not as awesome as my wife. What I can tell you is that we're trying to understand the market. So what's the market telling us? It's telling us that we're likely going to have a drop down to the 24.5 to 25,000 region, somewhere in there. I already gave you the price target. And from there, we'll have a turnaround based on the technicals, based on the macro. That is my take on the market. Love to hear your thoughts on that as well. I do think that drop is coming relatively soon too, probably in the next 7 months. Jebb is such a Southerner name. That is so funny. Yes, my name is Jared Webb McAfee from Gatlinburg, Tennessee. That's not my full name, but that's where I'm from. And Jared and Webb came together and made Jebb. Matanya Holmes said, best analogy ever. Thank you. Might use that again. We got a rabid 3-year-old that speaks Mandarin. Southerners speaking analogies. Well, so did Jesus. Well, he spoke in parables, but you know, there you go. All right, let's read chat a little bit. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. We're going to read chat. You guys are more than welcome to ask me questions. You're also more than welcome to give me altcoin recommendations that you would like for me to look into and that you would like for me to cover. So definitely go and let me know that. Make sure you hit that like button, by the way, guys. We got almost 500 people watching. We only got 94 likes. We can pump those likes up. Let's hit the like button. Let's get up to 200, 250 likes. Really appreciate all of you guys tuning in. We got a lot of people in chat spamming Bedrock present. I'd love to see it. Love to see it. Credit downgrade if they could get too close. Let me just ask you, who do you think has the brass to downgrade the United States credit rating? I'm sorry, could you not hear me? Let me just say it again. I'm sorry, no one. No one. The United States has a AAA credit rating right now. It's $31.4 trillion in debt. Let me just put that in perspective for you. Okay? The United States federal government brings in about $4 trillion in tax revenue every year. They have $3.14 trillion in debt, and we run about depending on the year, about a 30 and a 50% deficit. Let me just put that in personal finance for you, because we talk about personal finance on this channel quite a lot. Let's say you make $100,000 a year, and you spend $150,000 a year, and you have $1.3 million in debt. I'm not talking like what they call, it's not healthy, but healthy debt like a mortgage. I'm talking credit card debt, student loan debt, these kind of debts that have high interest rates, short-term payments, a lot of penalties, can't bankrupt them, etc. Would you give that individual a AAA credit rating? No. The United States AAA credit rating is a farce. And you know I mean business when I use that word, the F word, the farce word. It's a farce. It's a farce. That's like the worst word in my vocabulary, because I do not curse. I'm a Christian. I don't curse. It's like the worst word I can use for something that I have any interest, because I'm not interested in cursing. I have no interest in that. It's not like I'm holding myself back. I don't want to go there. Like, it's not in my, I don't have that desire. It's like the worst word I'm going to use. Farce. It's a total farce. It's a complete and total joke. Going to downgrade their credit rating. Right, because it meant anything in the first place. Go right ahead. Downgrade the United States credit rating. Maybe, it won't, but maybe that'll give the United States a little bit of a humble dose, a humble pill. It's not going to work. Keep your own phones to CPU mine, and with them, charge them for free at work. Lol. That's a good idea. That's a good idea, except that you're using somebody else's electricity to make yourself profit. Is that an integral thing to do? That's between you and yourself. Just a question. Just a question. Pidgin is a type of language, not a specific one. It's kind of like a mixture, like Creole. Right. Okay. I'm not a linguist, so I appreciate the corrections there. Salutations, Jebb. Do you believe that VET will ever recover? I think the vast majority of cryptocurrencies will not recover. VeChain is a cryptocurrency that is built mostly around supply chain logistics, and forgive me, I've not paid very close attention to its project, and I'll tell you the reason why. There you go. There's the reason why. Why? It's a cryptocurrency that works with supply chain. The tricky thing is, most companies don't necessarily need a cryptocurrency for supply chain logistics. It's a good idea in principle. It sounds like a good idea. Is it a good idea? Depends on whether or not it's going to be implemented well. It really I'm not an investor in it. That's what I'll say. I don't have anything against it. I don't think it's a joke. But I don't know if it's something I'd invest in. Lazarus Hand said, I'd be in debtor's prison. Yep, if any one of us had that kind of personal finance, I'd be saying here, what is it that Dave Ramsey says? He says, that's stupid on steroids. He says, that's stupid on steroids. Yeah, the United States government, your financial picture, it's stupid on steroids. We ought to get Joe Biden on Dave Ramsey and let Joe Biden be like the caller. Like, so we make $4 trillion a year and we have $31.4 trillion in debt. What do we do? And Dave Ramsey says, well, are we on the same side? Do you see how ridiculous this is? Do you see how ridiculous it is? That's what needs to happen. We need to get Dave Ramsey to straighten out the government. Of course, I understand. I know Joe Biden's just one president. We've been running up debt for a long time. Not making a political statement. You have no idea who I voted for. Not going to tell you. And it's definitely not all Joe Biden's fault. Can you play guitar and sing at the same time? I can sit there and like make your ears bleed and play and sing at the same time. I can sing kind of well, but I know a few chords on guitar. I can play the intro to Country Boy Can't Survive, but yeah, I want to learn. My wife got me a Martin Dreadnought Jr. for Christmas, and I'm really looking forward to learning. I just have not had that much time. All right. Let's go ahead and get some cryptocurrency questions, because that's what you guys are here for, not just for rambling. English still the universal language of the world. Let's see. Gatlinburg, nice. Yes, I'm from Gatlinburg. Wow, your wife is Spanish. She is half Puerto Rican. Okay, let's see. Jebb is such a southerner name. Yes, I think somebody asked for AVAX. Let's see. I will give you guys a poll. Crypto to which alt or 2-minute technicals? AVAX, ADA, or ETH? You guys can tell me what the which one you would like. Miss your raps, Jebb. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Took a minute now. I'm at the better end of all of it. I can still do it. I just I don't. It's very hard for me. It's very hard for me to find rap that I like want to be associated with. Because anyway, let's see. LMAO. That was a perfect Dave Ramsey. Yeah, what? Really? Well, you know, the thing is, I actually have a very southern accent by default. I just turn it off whenever I'm on camera. And no, I used to have a very southern accent, and I kind of lost it because I started going to. I tell you what happened. All the southerners are going to say yeehaw. I started going to school with a bunch of city folk, and I lost my city accent. I lost my country accent. It's kind of gone. But whenever I go out into the woods, it comes back. Remember, like on a hike or on a trail, like at the springs or something, it comes back. What cryptos are you investing in this bull market? Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano. I know you're going to say, Jebb, but those are just like 3 big cryptocurrencies. What kind of pick is that? I'm not trying to be an altcoin speculator. Just so you know, I'm not the guy that's saying, hey, what are your favorite altcoins? I just list off the top 20. That's not what I'm trying to do. I just don't invest in a lot of things. I probably will pick up some Polygon. I'm not touching Solana. Not a big fan of Tron. Not a big fan of Litecoin. Polkadot, I might get a little bit. Binance USD, obviously not. Sheeb, no. DAI, obviously, probably not. Avalanche, probably not. Link, I think I would. I think Link is pretty nice. BNB, I'm not confident in either because I think it's going to come under securities threat. Rick4962 just became a Jebbi Grandmaster. Thank you so very much, Rick4962, Yard Dog out of Knoxville, Tennessee, for becoming a Jebbi Grandmaster. Really appreciate that membership, my friend. That helps keep the lights on around here. If you guys don't know, that is the top tier. He is donating $100 a month. Shout out to Rick. Thank you so very much, Yard Dog, for your support. All right. Ever listen to Tom MacDonald? His rap is clean on YouTube and has solid messages. I have not. Might be something I'll look into. Look into Kieran, the Light, Christian rap artist. There is some good Christian rap out there. There is some good Christian rap. I will give you that. Haven't looked at. I like. Somebody's gonna say, Jebb, what are you doing? But I like Toby Mac. I'm a fan of Toby Mac. What is it? What is that song that Toby Mac did with NF? Toby Mac NF. Here, I'll do this for you. Till the day I die. Till the day I die. Where is it? This is just. We're just going completely off the rails right now. Oh, yeah, the NF part. Till I die and they put me in the coffin. Yeah, there you go. That's that song. Who knows that song? All right. ADA is winning out at 61%. ADA is winning out at 61%. Let's do it. Let's go ahead and take a look at ADA. Let's take a look at ADA. ADA is struggling right now because Bitcoin did not break out when we thought it would. If you remember back, I was hoping that Bitcoin would break up to 32,935. Month ago, didn't do it. Instead, Bitcoin's doing the healthy thing. It's going through a big correction. I'm glad that Bitcoin's doing that. It just kind of was the rabid 3-year-old that speaks Mandarin and said, hey, I'm going to the living room, and it changed its mind. Right? The market told us that we were going to the upside, and then it just decided, nope, not going to do that. I'm going to do something else. And I'm glad it did that, because the rabid 3-year-old that was speaking Mandarin was like running straight into a plate glass window, and it decided, I'm going to go do something else. So we're happy it didn't do that, but it is a little confusing sometimes. That's just the nature of technical analysis. You're never going to get it perfect. You just have to do your best to listen and have listening ears and give them a good example. That's what I'm trying to do with my 2-year-old. Anyway, right now, Cardano's in a pretty large correction in a very large uptrend. Now, I feel like I am being judged slightly by TradingView. I'll tell you why. Because over on my Cardano chart, it looks a lot like this chart that TradingView just did. TradingView just said that, reminder, don't do this. Come on, TradingView. Those are the best kind of charts. Do you not know your own audience? This is how you're supposed to, right? This is like, you got a bunch of stuff in there that has no reason to be there. It's the best kind of chart. That's kind of how I feel right now. I feel judged because that's how I feel my Cardano chart looks like. Just go ahead and remove Lux Algo for a second in the moving averages. I don't need them. Clean up the chart. Fine, we'll clean up the chart. Nevertheless, right now, Cardano has been undergoing a pretty large correction, and a pretty large correction right around the same time as Bitcoin. We saw a 30% drop here, about 12 cents. We've seen a 25% drop of about 11 cents here. It's a slightly smaller correction. Remember, what we're looking at on Bitcoin is that Bitcoin's looking at a slightly smaller correction percentage-wise. And right now, it's in a much smaller correction percentage-wise than what it saw here in late February, early March. If you overlay Bitcoin on top of ADA, ADA doesn't look like it's doing too well, but actually, to be quite honest with you, ADA, in a lot of ways, is doing just as well or better than Bitcoin was because ADA ran so much farther originally. Let me say that again. ADA's second rally here is a little bit smaller than Bitcoin's second rally, but the only reason for that is because ADA's first rally was so much larger than Bitcoin's. You can see Bitcoin's line chart right here looked like this. The second line chart looked like this. ADA underperformed in the second rally, overperformed in the first rally. So ADA's kind of just taking a breather. I'm happy with where Cardano is. As I said, Cardano is going to need to prove itself moving into the next bull market. It's going to need to get adoption. It's going to need to get some new adoption because a lot of the ADA gang left the space because ADA gang, against Charles Hoskinson's advice, was all about the price. Instead of worrying about the fundamentals, they worried about the drop happening on the price action of the cryptocurrency with a 92% correction. Newsflash, Amazon did the same things. Apple did the same thing. All of the major corporations that we see on the Fortune 500 have dropped that much. The question was not, did they drop a lot? Because they all did. The question was, did they have the strong enough fundamentals to drive them back to their all-time high and beyond? Because the underlying project was growing. The thing that we have to remember about price action charts is they are simply the price action manifestation of what the market capitalization of that asset is doing. And that is not driven just by the technicals. That is driven primarily by the fundamentals, and it shows and manifests itself in the technicals. You read the market through technical analysis, but the big thing driving the technicals, the man behind the curtain, if you will, the one pulling the puppet strings, that's the fundamentals. The question on Cardano right now is, will it have enough fundamental adoption to go into a major rally? And the reason I bring that question up every single time I analyze it is because it changes our picture, changes our analysis. We can have confidence in for what that's going to look like in the next bull market for Bitcoin. I don't have as much confidence for what that's going to look like in Cardano because Cardano has not gone through two massive bull markets. Cardano is not as old as Bitcoin. Cardano goes back to the end of the 2017 bull market. It went through the 2020 and 2021 bull market, but it doesn't have two under its belt to say, hey, I've proven itself. Excuse me. The vast majority of altcoins have one bull market of good, and then they don't ever do anything again. I hope that that's not Cardano, but I can't guarantee that. I'm a big fan of Cardano. I love to see it go to $100 $10 by the end of this decade. But the only altcoin that's really shown that every single bull market is going to go and make new, fresh all-time highs is Ethereum. It's the only one. As much as I'd like to say that Cardano's in that boat, it's just not. So as far as the Cardano is concerned, I am excited about its fundamentals. I think it's growing well. Project, technically speaking, both are growing well. I do believe they're in good shape. That being said, we're going to need to see Cardano prove itself. Shorter term, Cardano is going to bottom out when Bitcoin does, and it won't go into a rally until it does. It's one of the reasons I don't do as much analysis on the altcoins as I do on Bitcoin, because Bitcoin drives everything. All right, so there's my take on ADA. Let's read a little bit of chat. What's the attraction for ADA? Serious question. It's fundamentals. Yes, I would encourage you, because I don't have enough time to really get into that, I would encourage you to go back and watch the interview I did with the founder, Charles Hoskinson, a little over a year ago. Rick4962 said, I support Jebb 100%. Our Heavenly Father is the only one. Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Rick. Really appreciate that. Shadrach Frost in chat said, good morning. Got to listen to Lecrae. Lecrae's got some good music. That's true. ADA will prove itself, Jebb. No worries. I believe it will. I believe it will. I believe it will. But I'm going to have to wait and see. Sheep is better than ADA. Okay. All right. It's already been proving itself during this bear market. I agree. What will make you give up on ADA, Jebb? If it underperforms in this bull market and its fundamental growth does not at least come close to what it did during the last bull market, that's where I'd start having to question. But I'm not going to ditch it just because it hasn't gotten to the next bull market yet. Does that make sense? I'm totally willing to write it off and say, hey, I am not, we should be like, we brought up politics a little bit, so I'll be like that. You should be totally willing at any time to write off a political candidate that you're voting for and say, hey, I don't support that. I'm not going to blindly support everything they do. That would be idolatry, actually. But same thing with technicals and coins. Don't be so loyal to any investment, including Bitcoin, that you don't see the writing on the wall if something's going wrong. There we go. Yo, got here late. Let's sing about ADA. Oh, Cardano, wherefore thou art thou gains. All right. So BTC is going to drop hard soon. I think it'll drop $1,000 to $2,000 over the next 1 to 2 weeks. Probably a little sooner and maybe a little harder, but that'd be the prediction. All right. I think ultimately a 20% drop from $31,000 all-time local high will be in order. Okay. Colin McDonald said, ADA doing okay, IMO? I think it's doing well. Got to listen to Lecrae. Yep. I got a real good feeling about ADA. I got a real good feeling about ADA also. Okay. Are those indicators from Lux Algo? The ones on TradingView? No, those were not. Those were like FibFan and all that kind of stuff. When do you think altcoin season is going to start? We got to have Bitcoin season start soon. Start first. I think when people have confidence that Bitcoin's going to go back to all-time high and beyond is when people will start saying that they're going to, is when, how shall I say this? When people get confidence that Bitcoin's going to go back to all-time high and beyond into a strong bull market, that's when the confidence may pour over into the altcoins. An altcoin season is going to be harder this year than it has been in years past because of the increasing regulatory pressure on this concept of altcoins being securities. So an altcoin season is not going to be quite as easy as it hasn't been in past, but I believe so. Until the Day I Die song is I care about the story of year is the only Until the Day I Die song is a story of the years version. Never heard that. That's interesting. I also love it. Toby Mac. I'm a big NF fan. I like NF. I feel like sometimes he just gets very down and depressed, and you know the Lord says, "Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." So that's one of the reasons I don't listen to him as much as I used to. And I don't say that to be like, oh, I'm trying to be legalistic. I'm not trying to be legalistic. I'm just saying I don't want to be tempted to be down or discouraged. That's all I'm saying. I'm not judging NF because the dude's got a lot of stuff that he's working through. And he's got really great music that's helped a lot of people. I'm not judging. I'm not trying to be legalistic. I'm just saying that for me, I've struggled with depression and being down on myself before. So I'm trying to be careful about what I listen to. But I do really like his music, and I'm very much like his style. Listen to pretty much all of his music. Thank you for all you do. Enjoying your Climate of Crypto episodes. By the way, there's a Climate of Crypto episode coming out in 13 minutes. So guys, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that post notification bell, and make sure to sign up for Lux Algo with the link in the description box down below, because you, my friend, are going to be saving $472 over the next year if you sign up for the annual plan using coupon code Jebb30. That's right, you heard me right. $472 in savings. You'll go from $818 a year. If you're doing the monthly plan, $68.99 every single month for that's $818 in the first year, down to $300 and something, $380 somewhere in there. You know, save $472 on Lux Algo if you get the annual plan. Use our coupon code Jebb30 for 30% off at checkout. You're gonna be so glad you did, because that indicator is gonna help you so much. And talking about financial sovereignty, instead of paying $68 a month, $69 a month, $68.99, you're going to end up saving $40 a month if you average it out over 12 months, and you'll end up paying $28 a month for Lux Algo. I know some of you guys are like, $69, I can't afford that. Can you afford $28 a month? That's less than half. You're saving $40 a month if you use that coupon code and buy the annual plan. Make sure to sign up at the link in the description box down below. Okay. Really appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Also, make sure to sign up for Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis and get access to Club DeFi's office hours. Those are over in our Discord server, and they are being recorded. Really looking forward to all of you guys joining over there. I do have to go, but before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.